The midterm elections are less than 3 months away. 5 states are heading to the polls tomorrow, including Ohio for a special House general election and primaries in Kansas, Michigan, Missouri, and Washington. Joining me now is Genevieve Woods, Senior Communications Advisor at the Heritage Foundation and Senior Contributor for the Daily Signal. Genevieve, welcome back to the program.
Happy Election Eve.
Yes. We have been analyzing some of the overall trends of the midterms and the primaries. You worked for the RNC in your career. We have reported that a record number of women are running, and they seem to be using that fact to distinguish themselves as candidates. Let's look at one of the ads, a Democrat running for Congress in Texas, a veteran and a mom whose ad highlights the doors she's opened and the ones that have been slammed in her face. Is this a smart political strategy for women?
Well, I think it depends on the district. I mean, at the end of the day, it should be about what does a candidate stand for, not are you a man or a woman or what color are you. But I think in some districts, especially left-leaning districts that really don't like President Trump and want to send a message, I think this may generate some of that base there that you might not have gotten otherwise.
According to the New York Times this weekend, more than 400, quote, gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender candidates are running for office this year. And the paper cites, quote, groups that track such data, so I don't have the proof there. Have you seen evidence of what they are calling this rainbow wave? And are these candidates resounding, or are they resonating with voters?
Well, you know, one such candidate actually won in Virginia this last election cycle, and actually won a district that had been held by a very conservative Republican, I should say at the state house level. But the point being, even in a conservative area, they were able to pick it up. Look, I think a lot of this has to do with which base turns out, whether we're talking about special elections tomorrow or what happens in November. And when you think of the resist base, if you will, it's made up of many of the people you've talked about.
So what should people be looking for in their candidates if it's not race, if it's not gender?
Yeah. Well, I would be looking at, is my life better or worse today than it was a year ago, 2 years ago, looking at what's impacting my family and me personally. And I think Republicans, if they're wise, would not just be talking about if you vote for Democrats, you're going to get Nancy Pelosi as speaker. I get that can be a turnout point, but they ought to be pointing to like their agenda. And one thing they've done, tax reform, for example, is one of the reasons you've seen the economy do as well as it has. If Democrats take the House, certainly if they take the House and Senate, one of their first things to do is going to be trying to erase tax reform. And I brought Lauren something. If people want to know, what did I get out of this? You can go to taxesandjobs.com, click on your state, click on your congressional district, and it will tell you exactly what the average voter or average resident there is getting in terms of a tax
Is that from the Heritage
So
Foundation?
This is from the Heritage Foundation, and I happen to pull the one that's in Ohio's Congressional District 12.
Wonder why.
Which is tomorrow. And the average citizen there, their tax cut for 2018 was over $1,400, just over $1,400. If you were to look at take-home pay over the next 10 years, it would be an additional $24,000 just with the tax cut package we have now. If I'm a voter, I look at that, not what color somebody's skin is or what their race, or what gender they are. What's happening to me jobs-wise? What's happening in my community in terms of how policy's affecting me?
And are you seeing at the Heritage Foundation that people are doing that?
Well, when you're looking at the real numbers and people go, wait, that's me, that's my area, that's what's not just me, but my neighbors as well. Yes, it does have an impact, but people have to be reminded and told. And I think it's important, if people out there are concerned about these things, go to taxesandjobs.com. You can look at what's happening in your state, what's happening in your district, other places, because that's the reality.
All right, Genevieve Woods, Senior Communications Advisor at the Heritage Foundation. Thank you for being here.